How does workplace culture contribute to the development of anxiety disorders among employees?
What it does is first of all, you're getting paid for somebody to do a service. Doesn't matter what it is. Also, you're getting judged, not just by the people that you work with or the people that are your superior at that job. When I say superior, it doesn't mean they're a superior person. They just have a different title than you. They might have been there longer. They might have trained for a different position. You might have trained for something that's not the same. Then you have the client or the customer. So you have to appease so many people. The one thing I've learned is if you have a job description, that's how you do your job. Many businesses, you'll come in, you have a job description, they'll make an offer, you get the job. Then they want you to do so many other things. Then what do? We get angry. We get frustrated. We get depressed. We don't know what to do. Here's the kicker. If that's the situation, talk to them. Say, look, here's what my job description is, but here's what I'm doing. And then see if, number one, they're going to pay you more. See if, number two, you're doing somebody else's work. But something like this in the workplace, it creates anxiety, stress, and then what happens? You take it home. You might have issues. How many of you have ever had an issue in some situation or with somebody and inadvertently, and you didn't mean to, but you took it out on somebody else? Whether you screamed, you yelled, you shunned them, you isolated, you did something, you went and you had a cold beer. If you deal with food, you went and you ate a bunch to feed yourself and stuff yourself so you didn't have to deal with it. Many times we're going to take that situation and abuse ourselves rather than finding the right way to come up with an answer.
All right, number 2. What are the most common misconceptions about mental health in the workplace that you encounter in your practice?
In my work, I think the big issue is many people think that they're okay. 95% of the people who work in my industry have dealt with their own mental health issues or addiction issues at some point. And they always think, well, okay, I'm going to be a therapist. I'm going to work in a rehab. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to help other people. And the reality is it helps them. Everybody in every place has some type of anxiety, no matter what it is, whether it's from the work or your personal life. You take your personal life, you bring it into work. It's difficult. You take your work life, take it home. It's difficult. But everybody I work with, there's some type of anxiety. How they address it is one thing. Remember, I think the common thing with any business is people want to get paid. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to say something I shouldn't. Well, what if they don't like me? What if I get fired because of this? There's so many laws that help us now to where you're not going to get fired for the wrong reason. And here's the kicker. Whatever your job is, do your job. I've learned there's things that I need to do that can make me better at what I do and help whoever I'm trying to do get better as well. But in my industry, very few people don't deal with some type of anxiety because remember, we're dealing with people helping them. We're working to help them hopefully get clean and sober, address their mental health issues. And if we fail, there's a good chance that the client or the individual is not going to have an opportunity that they came to us for.
All right, number 3. Can you describe the interplay between job stress and personal predispositions to anxiety and how they affect an individual's mental health?
I think the answer to that is we're born into our families and things are situational maybe. Mom and dad have their issues. You're going to have your issues. Mom is paranoid about things. Dad's paranoid. You're going to become paranoid. It's what you're taught when you're younger. It's the environment that you're part of when you're younger. And then you just stay in that because nobody knows any different. Nobody sought help. Nobody wanted to change. It just becomes natural to you. It becomes the holiday season. People go home. Well, it's going to be crazy going home. Well, you keep going back to the same situation. So you already know what's going to happen. In all the reality, you can't complain. Well, if I don't go, it's going to cause a problem. Okay, but when you do go, the anxiety and depression hits you so hard you don't want to be there. It affects you 6 months later. So what happens, all those things you deal with the family, when you go to the workplace, it's just a different family. It's a different setting. So you're going to notice how somebody treats you, and that residual from how your family was or is, you're going to think the same way about that person. You have, I call it a family tree and a work tree. You have your mom, dad, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, all that. In the workplace, you have the person who owns it, more like a family, mom and dad, whoever, female, male. Then you have the people who are supervisors, could be your aunts, uncles. Then you have the people you work with, your brothers, sisters. Then you have the people who are interns. Those could be your cousins. So it's like a family tree. You're going from one family to another. One is who you were born into. The other is who you made a choice to be with. So you have to really take a look at how you handle the situation. If you handle the same thing in work situation or problem that you handle at home, pretty good chance you're going to get fired. Pretty good chance something's going to go wrong. If you have a lot of anger issues, you take it to work, and I know this personally, you lose. So I do believe that that's how people have to relate, is really step back and realize that if somebody has treated you bad at home, or they have anxiety, or their ways of doing things affect you negatively, that's not the person in front of you at work. It's a completely different situation. You have to be able to step back and separate it.